An unusual murder trial underway in California. Paul Curry is accused of poisoning his wife back in 1994, 20 years ago. It's taken prosecutors that long to make the case against him, and ABC's Cecilia Vega has that story.
It is a cold case that had authorities stumped for years. But this morning, the man who police say almost got away with murder will be in a Southern California courtroom. Jury selection is underway in the trial of Paul Curry, the 57-year-old accused of poisoning his wife Linda 20 years ago, cashing in on insurance money, then moving to another state to start a new life.
This is pure greed, and unfortunately it's the kind of greed that allowed somebody to kill the person he was supposed to protect.
The once happy couple met while working at the San Onofre nuclear plant and lived here in the California beach town of San Clemente. But according to court records, just 9 months into their marriage, Linda started mysteriously having symptoms. A year later, she died. Eventually, forensic testing confirmed Linda, a non-smoker, had fatal levels of nicotine in her system. But as prosecutors told our Los Angeles station in 2010, it took years and more testing before authorities could link Paul Curry to her death.
Science's ability to determine the amount of nicotine in somebody's system and how lethal it is and the timing of it was able to help us.
Curry was arrested 4 years ago in a small town in Kansas, where he worked in government overseeing city building inspections. He remarried and lived off a $400,000 insurance payout from Linda's death. But legal observers say the case brings challenges for prosecutors.
This case may have unique problems due to its age. Witnesses may have passed away, their memories may have failed.
Curry has pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Good Morning America, Cecilia Vega, ABC News, Los Angeles.
ABC's Dan Abrams is here with more on this. No statute of limitations when it comes to a murder case like this. So 20 years later, here we are.
He's been a suspect from the beginning, too. This is not one of those cases where new DNA evidence came to light and they were able to find it based on new technology. Because remember, this is a husband and wife who lived in the same house, so his DNA would be everywhere. It seems that there is some sort of new technology or new testing that was done that allowed them to determine exactly how she died. But what this really comes down to me, is a reinvigorated investigation in 2007. A district attorney who decided to take a new look at this case, do some new testing in this case, and now had filed charges in 2010.
And as we heard in the report, 20 years later, that's a long time. It's not going to be easy.
Right, and this hasn't been easy from the beginning. Remember, they haven't been able to file charges all this time because it's been a tough case. Yet you put on top of that the fact that you have these witnesses who may have passed away, may have forgotten things, etc. This is not going to be an easy case, and one of the key questions, of course, will end up being exact cause of death. They're going to probably battle over, could it have been something else? Exactly how did she die? Are we certain that it happened at someone else's hands, etc.?
So what do you think is the biggest challenge here?
Well, they've got a lot of problems here on both sides of this case. But when it comes to the defense, there's a little nugget about a missing Rolex watch that she had that the authorities say he put on the insurance form that it was stolen. They say he gave it to her sister. Why is that important? Because it goes to his credibility, meaning that if the jurors don't believe him, that could be a big problem
Something like
as
that.
part of the defense. But it's a small point, but could end up being really important.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.